Okay, so now we're going to play around with organizational units, right? So we'll just do a little fun thing on the desktop really quick. So if OUs are confusing anybody, just think of it as like when you're on your desktop and you create a folder. We can call this Texas. And then inside this folder, we'll create another folder. Let's call it, is that right? Clean? All right. So then I'll do one more out here. We'll treat this like it's our user folder. Let's say users. Use more than one, right? So now this isn't OUs and stuff. I'm just trying to get a better understanding of how that stuff's going to work for you. So we're going to treat okay, that's not what I wanted to click on, but we're going to say this is Don Funk. So right now Don Funk lives in the user folder, right? But there's a ton of other users in here, right? So we'll just go, wow, keyboard, what am I doing? Wow, thank you. And we want to organize stuff. So I'm going to copy that, and we're just going to do the same way we did before. So there's a ton of users in here, and it can just get like crowded, right? So we probably want to start organizing our users by their location, maybe. So one way we would be able to do this is say we create that Texas folder and we stuck it in our users folder. Maybe that would help us. So we still have everyone who's in the user folder still has the permissions of users. But then we can start, hey, well, Don Funk's in Texas. So let's put Don Funk in the Texas folder. In our case, we're going to treat this as like that's the OU. So then we can go in there and it makes it easier for us. Now we just see Don Funk. Now we're just going to mess around with people in Texas. And say, all right, well, Don Funk's in Texas, but he also works in the Killeen location. So let's put him in Killeen. So each one of these folders that we have properties, right? So we can go in here, we can go in the properties, and each one we can set different security policies on each one of these, right? Like sharing, security, read, write, whatever they can or can't do, right? So OUs are very similar to this. They're organizational units that we put objects into it. So in our case, our object is Don Funk. And it's being, if you go to these, there's not much stuff you can set on a file itself. So see, you can say, hey, I can read, write, and modify this specific file, but you don't want to do that per file, right? That's gonna, if I put 20 files in here, I don't want to go individually on each one of those. So we set the permissions to the folder or the organizational unit, in our case, in our Active Directory, and we can put them in there and they automatically inherit whatever permissions that folder is set to. So for me, this is how I try to break it down to understand the flow of how this works. So we have our users, they're in our user folder, and then we can, our basic ones, our default ones that Microsoft's made, they're all sitting out here. But when I want to organize them, I can put them in here and I can say Killeen, and then I can go one step further and we can go students, right? Like you guys. And then we can give that folder rights to specific computers. So like if you're in Yvonne's class, I could drag that over to the computers that are in Yvonne's group, and you guys have access to use those computers. But then when you're no longer in his class, I can remove you from that group, and you can't use his computers anymore. You still have the same logins and everything, but since you've moved out of his class, you don't have rights to use those computers anymore. So that's how we can use organizational units and group policies to manage stuff like that. So now that we've kind of done it simulated here, let's do it for real inside, okay? And again, we're managing stuff from our test computer because we can. Why not, right? So right here's our server manager. If you don't want to go right there, when you click on the Windows button, it should also be right here. And I'm doing stuff in the server manager because for some reason your book likes to use the administrative tools, which is right there, which is the same stuff that's in server manager right here, right? So it's just figuring out which way you like to navigate, how you get there, whichever way you're more comfortable. We all drive different vehicles because we like different things, right? So let me go into Active Directory, users and computers. So again, what I was simulating was just this organizational unit here. So, and when I right click on it, go to properties, default container for upgraded user accounts. So put the description in there. So what I want to do is create a new organizational unit. So I can go new. And then I am so losing myself right now. Where you at? I'm blind. Why is it not showing it? All right, let's go over here. It's hating me. All right, am I in the wrong spot, guys? Am I blind right now? Am I brain farting? Let's go right here. Oh, it's right there. I'm blind. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Ugh. One cell, one brain. Sorry. So, what we did out there is we did Texas, right? Is that the first one we did? Yeah. So let's create a Texas organizational unit. Now, this right here, you're going to want to uncheck that, okay? So what this does is it makes it so you can't delete it on accident. So we're going to unprotect it, and I'm going to say okay. So now we have an OU. So let's go into that OU, and we want to create another OU. So organizational unit. I don't know why I wasn't seeing that before. I'm just blind. Stupid thing. I hit the enter button. Is there only one L or two L's in Killeen? Good enough. Cool. So now see how we're going further over in the hierarchy here? And I can take Texas and drop it into the users. Now it says moving object in Active Directory domain services can prevent your existing system from working the way it was designed. For example, moving an organizational unit can't affect the way the group policies are applied to the account within the OU. Are you sure you want to move the object? Yes. It got mad at me. That should not have happened. Let's see. Okay, maybe it won't let me put it in there. Maybe I just lied to you guys. So we'll do it outside of it, okay? But we can take our user, who's Don Funk, right? We can just grab him, and we can drag him over here to clean. I was going to say, he's going to take whatever permissions are in that folder, and he's going to have whatever's in there. So now I come over here, and we have Don Funk user. Now we hard-coded his stuff, so when we go to properties, he's still a member of everything. So he still has all his permissions, so it won't affect him. But this will help us organize stuff. So then on Colleen, we can right-click on there, right? We can just go to new, organizational unit. Go another deep. We're going to say students. Now you notice I didn't uncheck that checkbox, right? So if I went in here and I right clicked and went delete, it won't let me delete it. You do have privileges, but it's protected. If you do that and you forget, so I don't think your you certify goes over this. What you have to do is you have to come up here to view, and we need to go to advanced features, okay? So if I right click right now, go to properties on this, we have 3 tabs. We have general, where we can do the description of that folder, managed by, whatnot, managed by, who's management, and then the com plus. So I'm going to close that really quick because I'm going to show you when we go to view, go to advanced features. Now see a whole lot of new stuff showed up in here, right? A lot of stuff you don't want to actually mess with and break stuff. We have system, we have NTDS quota, we have TPM devices. So TPM is your protection on your computer. It's your chip that does all the encryption, right? So, but now if I go to Texas, clean, students, if I right click it, go to properties, now I have more tabs up here. So we have our general, we have our managed by, we still have our com, but now we have object. See right here where it's got protect object from accidental deletion? That's what we would uncheck and hit apply. You also have security in here now. So now we can actually set who has permissions to do stuff to this. You have enterprise, pre-Windows, print operators, all this stuff in here. This stuff you can't normally see. That you can, and we have attributes editor right here where we can go in there and actually change the attributes of this. So this is stuff that you'll do in Yvonne's class. We're not going to mess with this now because obviously you can break stuff, right? I'm going to close that, and then I'm just going to show you now I can actually right click and delete it. Are you sure you want to delete the unit name? Yes. Now it's gone forever. So there's another feature in here, which is the recycle bin. So let's see. I might add it later to it, but unless one of you guys, do you guys remember how to turn on the recycle bin? Because right now I'm drawing a brain fart, so. You don't? Okay. All right, cool. We'll do that one later then. So I'll talk about it though. I don't remember right now. It's something right in front of me and I don't remember. So there's a recycle bin you can turn on. So if you do accidentally delete stuff, it'll go in that recycle bin and you can recover it. You can't recover what I just did right now. So, but the thing about the recycle bin, once you turn it on, you cannot turn it off. You cannot deactivate the recycle bin. And if I had a user in there, I would have just deleted the user and everything in it. So right now we have him. I moved him to clean. So Don Funk is living right here right now. So in some of your exercises, I think you're going to create like a ton. You have like Europe, Australia, and you start organizing them. They'll have you move them. You'll delete, and then later they'll have you open up accountant and stuff. So they'll break this all the way down to manage individual offices. So when you have someone on board, which is like someone you're hiring and you're entering them in the system for the first time, they might be like Colleen, and then you might create a new one that says probably spelling it wrong, but accountant. I'll leave it protected. Best practices are leave them protected unless you don't need it. So you do like clean accountant, and you put all your accountant staff in the accountant, right? So later on, when we're doing group policies, we assign group policies to OUs. So people, if they're in the OU, those group policies are applied. So you might not have gotten the group policies yet. So let me close this. A way to get the group policies. Did I install it on here? I might not have it on this. Boy, I am so tired right now. I want to go to the real computer. So remember, we can go to DC1, we can right click on it, and we can go to remote desktop connection. So we're moving from test local, and I'm going over to DC1. So right now it's just trying to handshake and say, hey, how you doing? I'm doing great. Let me in. Knock, 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 knock. I'm still just knocking and annoying that computer right now. I'm trying to do this in the order that you would actually do it when you're deploying a system. Because first you're going to build your system, then you're going to add your other managers to it, your administrators, and then you're going to start building stuff with all your administrators. So there we go. That's what I was looking for. It's probably in front of me too, but I'll take this one. So once you open up Group Policy Manager, it's going to show you your forest, right? We have a forest. So if we had other domains added to our forest, they would be right here. So we'd be able to see all our different domains, our child domains, and we have to make them, they have to apply to our GPOs that we set at the forest level. Then we can have different sites in here. So I don't think we have any sites set up yet. So let's see. Oh, it's showing it. I don't know. This is weird. It's actually working right today. I wonder if there was an update and they fixed that. So when we open up Group Policies is pretty much, you are editing registry edits with Group Policies, okay? You're setting what can and can't be done, what can and can't be seen. You can set default desktops. You can set messages to pop up before people log in. So this is where you probably want to focus a lot and find a group policy book and learn what all these group policies can do. Now, this isn't all of them. This is just for stuff that's built in the Windows. So if you want, Google group policies for Chrome, group policies Firefox. You can download them, import them in here so you can control those too. You might not want people to get in there and set their own proxies and bypass your internet security. That becomes a security risk where viruses can come in. So everything's about giving people just enough permissions to do their job. When you give people too much, they do more than they need to. They do stuff they don't know what they're doing, and they can risk your entire network. You don't want that. That becomes very costly. So right here, we have default group policies. So if you change this, this is going to apply to every single thing on our entire domain. But we're just going to take a quick little walk through here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on it. So, and I'm going to go edit. Right now, by default, this says it's not enforced. It's not doing anything. It's link enabled, so we can link other policies we change. So what you want to do is you want to make one change to a group policy. So you'll copy this, right? And then you'll make just one change. You'll name the change you did, and you'll link it to this. That way, that if something goes wrong, you didn't change the main default one, and you didn't break everybody. You can go back there and fix it. So in my previous class, when they were building their lab at the end of class, they went through and they tried to lock everything down with GPOs, but they did it local. So instead of doing it on the domain level, they did it on the local level. And so they edited the ISO image and did it on the local level when they saved their ISO. And what happened is they made it so they can't use command prompt. They couldn't use PowerShell. They couldn't use administrator. So as soon as they installed Windows, they couldn't do anything. So they had to completely rebuild the image that they originally created. So let me go into edit so you can see what's hiding in here. So this is your group policy management editor. Let me make this full screen. So what this has, there's two different things. There's computer configuration, user configuration. And you'll see they're broken down into the same folders, or we can call these OUs kinda. You drop it down and a whole lot of stuff opens up, right? It doesn't look like there's a lot right there, but there is. So let me grab my happy bar right here. Come on, slide to the right, slide to the right. All right, we're not dating, but I'm still swiping right. All right, so we got 3 folders. So this will be our policies for software, our policies for Windows settings, and our administrative template policies defined by ADMX files retrieved from the local computer. Local, that's the key word, local computer. So that's if we want to manage stuff on their local computers. A lot of the stuff you're going to do in here. So control panel, network, printer, server, start menu and taskbar. If you look over here to my right, got start screen layout, pin apps to start when installed. Then we go in a little bit deeper. We have system, Windows components, which goes from ActiveX all the way down to other security stuff. You'll see there's Edge UI, where you can edit the Edge UI, how it shows up. And then if you really want to go crazy, all settings. Let me move this over. And this is just under administrative templates for the computer. So I'm going to drag this back over here now. But there's just so much. So you see all these say not configured. So ActiveX is like what your graphics card uses. It does display. It's a type of programming like DirectX. There's a little command we can type to test it. So I'll put a link in here in a second so you can see a little bit more about ActiveX. Windows settings. I'm going to click on this one now. See, it's taking a while. All right, here we go. So a lot of your stuff you're going to do in your Use Certify is right here under Windows settings. So policy-based quality of service, security settings, scripts, startup, and shutdown. So if there's scripts you want a computer to run every time it turns on, so maybe you wanted to run a script last in, or give you a report on if there's something wrong with that computer before it turns on, do a little hardware check. You can set a script to run when the computer turns on. Okay, did I click it too many times? All right, yeah. So you can put scripts in here to run when that computer turns on, or you can tell it to run a script when that computer powers off too. So this is scripts for command prompt right here, and then PowerShell scripts that you can run right here. So that's a pretty powerful tool once you start to learn how to do scripts, because there might be things you want it to do as soon as they join the domain. You're like, okay, check and make sure this is up to date. Make sure these file shares are good to go. So there's all different shortcuts you can do. You can do it, push it through GPOs and through the user account. You can push it through the computer. So again, I'm just doing a quick little tour for you guys so you can see where this stuff is living, and maybe go come back to this video and look at it. Name resolution policies. So this gets really in depth, the DNSSEC and everything. So this is one of the few ones that looks like this in here. If you notice, the other ones don't look like this. So this is something you guys will play with in Yvonne's class to go more in depth in the DNSSEC and setting up stuff. So this is how you lock down your computer so people can't do false DNS injections into your DNS and send you to the wrong IP address. So they could say, all right, AOL.com is actually going to someone's private server, and it looks just like AOL.com, but you keep on typing your password wrong, so all they are is saving your password so they can log into your account and steal all your stuff. So this is one step to stop that from happening. So then software settings, there's a lot in here. So we can actually tell this to install software on computers. So if we have MSI files and stuff, we can go in here, we can go new, a new package, and we would find our Windows installer package, which is an MSI folder, see? And we can put them in here, and we can tell it to install this on computers that doesn't have stuff installed. We can also tell it if it has an older version to upgrade it. We can put the newest upgraded version in here and have it push file installs on the computers out there and make sure they're up to date. So GPOs are very powerful. This is where you'll spend most of your time cleaning stuff up, breaking stuff. So it's always best to actually create virtual machines like we have now and test your group policies before you put them on a live network. Because remember, if you take down an entire corporation, that's everybody's pay per minute that they're not doing their job. So how much money are you costing a multi-billion-dollar company? Every minute could be millions of dollars. You know, it's a quick way to lose your job. But that's also why you're worth your weight in gold as someone who knows how to fix stuff when it goes wrong. You get in there, you get it up. ITs get the best bonuses out there. So the best thing is break stuff, test it, go in forums, look how other people are doing it. Figure out if someone's calling BS. You're not going to know it right now. You're going to need experience. There's only so far a book can get you and the eye can get you. But as you've noticed, even right now, you guys have kind of started figuring out how to test your network card. Okay, it's not working. Look at the network card. You've learned how to troubleshoot that. So as we do the little things, you'll find out that troubleshooting works in other areas. You just got to figure out how it works from the ground up. Everything's kind of like how water flows. Where's the dam? What's stopping this from working? And trying to work your way up and find where that problem is. The best thing also when you're working, document everything. Everything you do, document it. Write it down. I screen record. So I'll record what I'm doing, and then I'll go back and I'll try to write down everything I did later, or I'll save that screen recording for that day and date what I did. That way, if I can't remember what I did or something broke the next day, I have exactly what I did right there in front of me. So, because again, I'm dyslexic, and you've seen how I type. I don't type very well. I'm a troubleshooter, but I'm not good at typing. So I'm going to close this right now because we don't need it. So this was just a quick browse on what's under computers, but now we can also do GPOs for user configurations. So let me go under preferences because there's some fun stuff in here. So we can say, we can pre-map drives. We can edit the environment. We can make sure there's files always available, folders available, edit INI files, the registry on their computer per that user. Even handle how shortcuts are handled. So, and then this comes into something that looks old school. Look at that logo. Does that not look Windows 3.1 to you? So there's a lot of legacy stuff in here that's never been changed. Our registry. We can edit the registry. So, and when you come in here, you right click, it gives you more options. Everything's usually like you go in there, you right click it, and it'll give you more features. So I can do a new folder in here and organize stuff in here. Go down to the application level. So, and then control panel. Same thing, we can edit all this stuff. So the folder options, internet settings, we can preset everything, local users and groups. So we can edit what local users are actually able to do stuff. So again, this is just a tour. It's a tour. You can see if they're referring to something, you might know where it lives. And when we go to the policies, this is where we're actually getting the administrative template. So again, we have software. We can do per user. So say we have a user who does AutoCAD. We want to make sure they have their software. So when they log in, it's going to make sure they have their software and it's up to date. Per user. So we can do this per user. So we'd put this, say we created an Autodesk organizational unit. We would apply this group policy to that organizational unit, and then whatever users we put in that OU would have this group policy applied to them. So it wouldn't apply to everybody. It just applies to whoever goes in the folder that these policies are applied to. Let me go to Windows settings. So again, here we can do scripts also per users. Remember, the other one is per computer. So it's whatever computers are in whatever OUs, it would apply to those computers. And then this would be log on, log off of the users who would be in this OU that we have applied this GPO to. And again, security. This is probably the ones you need to memorize the most. Is getting the security policies and stuff. Enterprise trust, trusted people, software restriction policies. So there's none there, but you'd right click and you'd create one. This is stuff you'll do in advanced administration with Yvonne. So I'm going to keep saying it, but this is a map to teaching you how to navigate where to find these tools. I don't expect you to memorize any of this stuff right now. I just want you to get your exposure. So like then you know you're going to the right spot. Because again, these group policies and all this stuff looks exactly like add and remove users, right? So it'd get really easy to get confused if you have multiple windows open. The location, SSSL, right? Location part, L. Make sure you're in the right place doing it. So I say that because right now we're in group policy editor. And if I close this, we'll be in group policy management. So you might think you're on the right one and you're doing the wrong thing. So here is the folder redirect. So if you're doing like Roman profiles and stuff, we can set it up here too. App data Roman, and we tell it where the default save locations of these actually should be. So when we right click, it gives us properties to these, right? So I can change it to specify locations for various user groups. Basic, redirect everyone's folder to the same location. So instead of storing your user accounts on your computers that you're logged into, it could save it in a network share. So no matter what computer you log on to, you have access to all your documents and everything when you log on to it. So you might be familiar with that with going to other schools and stuff, or if you worked on computers in the military, you probably had a Roman profile there too. So again, when you go to your folder here, all that stuff should be familiar. It's your favorite stuff. You hit this, and so that might help you relate to what that's telling you right here. Desktop, documents, pictures, music. So it lets you control where that stuff's actually directed. So on your Windows 10 stuff, you can just right click these, go to properties, and you can change where it's going. So you'd go to location right here, and you would change the default location. So as you see, it says move. So you could find, like if you have like D drive, you don't want it to store it on C drive because you might have a solid state and you don't want to fill it up because it's small. You could redirect it here locally. So I know some stuff. I don't know everything, but I knew enough to get my certs. So I'll close that out really quick. And that's just, this gets even more deeper, and you can add more policies to this that you download. What sucks for you guys is every different version of Windows 10 has different GPOs. So we actually have to upload, since this is 2012 R2, all this knows is Windows 8.1, right? So we would have to install every single GPO for every version of Windows 10 that has come out since then. We're at 2004 right now. I think we started off at like 1402. So from 14 to 20, we have to have GPOs for every single version of Windows 10 that's out there because they're literally different versions of Windows. They just called them upgrades or updates, but they're really new versions of Windows. So, any questions on this stuff? Do you understand like the purpose of it at least? Okay. I'm just trying to simplify it so when you go through the book, then it might make a little bit more sense. Okay, cool. So I'll probably just wrap this up right